Joining me now from the Capitol Statuary Hall in Washington, D.C., representing Texas's first congressional district, Congressman Louie Gohmert. Congressman, if Congress will not or cannot do its constitutionally mandated job, it seems to me that the President of the United States really has no other choice here if he is to perform his constitutionally mandated job and keep his promise to the American people to secure the southern border permanently and once and for all. This is not an imperial president like we saw with Barack Obama. This is not him making up federal law like Barack Obama did. This is the president actually following the Constitution and following statute if he decides to declare an emergency.
And I add one more factor to that. This is a president who cares more about America than he does other countries. And so that we have the proper perspective, Grim, you got to remember when President Carter totally screwed up the world by welcoming the Ayatollah Khomeini into Iran as a man of peace, and after which millions have died or suffered because of what Carter did, he declared a national emergency when our embassy was attacked. There were 51 American lives taken hostage, but on our border, there is a girl taken every day into sex trafficking, every day. And it is a national emergency. We've got people that, I mean, they're being killed, and, you know, Officer Singh is a good example out in California. But it is a national emergency, and I would submit, as bad as H1N1, the bird flu was in 2009, there were some people that lost their lives. What's happening, and by the way, a guy named Obama declared a national emergency over the bird flu. This is much, much more of a national emergency than even the bird flu, even Carter's screw up in Iran. And all that the president has been asking for, Graham, is about 3 to 4% of the money that Obama and the Democrats proudly sent to Iran, the largest funder of terrorism. Just give 3 to 4% of what they sent to Iran that could be used for terrorism. Give that amount, just 3 to 4% of that, to defend our country and to defend our national sovereignty. And there are people all over America who will be better off. Some, you know, have lost their lives, but that's not the end of the story. I mean, I've got constituents that have been in car wrecks or been damaged. Just, it may not seem like a big deal, but to the girl who had a single mom, the two of them had to work even though she was going to high school, and her car was destroyed, and they didn't have comprehensive, they could only afford collision. She lost her car, she couldn't get to work, they were damaged, and the illegal alien with no insurance, he drove away from the accident. Those are people whose lives are irretrievably broken, and this is a measure that will help Americans, and it will stop that attractive nuisance of drawing people toward the American border, where over a third of the girls are sexually molested on the way to America.
Yep.
And actually about 17% of the boys are sexually molested as well. This is a good thing for America. It's a good thing for those who are trying to get to America, force them to do it legally. And it also will help end the massive billions of dollars that go to the drug cartel that allow people in Mexico and Central America to have their lives upended, destroyed by the drug cartel. Every way you look at it,
Right.
It is the compassionate, constitutional thing to do. And Congress ought to have the nerve to give this president what they gave the power to Obama to do. And if we're not, it's absolutely more of a national emergency than the bird flu was.
It is what any sovereign nation, Congressman, should do, and that is protect your borders. If you don't protect your borders, you don't have a country. And this is more than about politics. To me, this is a watershed moment when it comes to our national security. This is a moment in time I think we're all going to look back on, and we're going to say, hey, we won or we lost here, when fully 79% of Americans, the latest poll, Congressman, says they agree there's either a crisis or a problem at the border. So most Americans agree with the president. My question to you is, now minus 2 days after the president's address to the American people, What are your constituents saying in reaction to his speech and in reaction in general about this debate that shouldn't be happening but is happening about the border?
Well, 90% are saying, look, get us a wall where we need it, secure the border, and Graham, some of that's coming from TSA family members, people that are not going to be paid if we don't get this resolved. They're saying we'll get by, but the bigger problem for our country is securing the border. We know we'll get paid back in the end. The banks are working with us, but in the meantime, just get the border secured. And you know, you've talked about it, but these comments by Democrats about, you know, it's a 14th century solution to a 21st century problem. No, it's actually about a 3000 BC problem. And what mankind, until this Congress, has understood to stop the illegal flow of people from one area to another, you build a wall. It can be passed by, and just like probably every Democrat that's opposing this president does, you go and you check your doors before you go to sleep. If you got kids, you make sure the windows and doors are locked and secured, not because you hate people outside the door, but because you love the people inside your home. And yes, burglars can get around the security system, they can get around the locks, but it is one way to slow them down so you have a chance to react and prevent bad people from coming in and doing harm. They do that. It's why Obama built a 10-foot wall around his new home here in Washington. It's why some of our Democratic friends and Republicans live in gated communities or have walls around their homes. Yeah, it doesn't keep everybody out, but it gives you a chance to at least have some security and to stop people initially from getting in until the police or you can stop them.
And I think you would agree with me, what a missed opportunity from the 115th Congress to solve this problem. It's just maybe the biggest blown opportunity of our lifetime.
What a squandered opportunity.
Oh, it's just disgusting.
And you know, I didn't realize how bad it was at the time. I knew it was something we should have done day one. It was a big promise. But apparently the president was being told, hey, Mr. President, we don't have the votes in the House, we don't have the votes in the Senate. And I was amazed to find out that even the week before Christmas, before we finally had a vote on funding, on appropriations bill with the wall funding all in there, the president was still being told by then Speaker Ryan that he didn't have the votes, he couldn't pass it. And Mark Meadows said, hey, our Freedom Caucus knows you got the votes if you will just bring it to the floor. And it turned out, who was wrong? The Speaker. Who was right? The people who were saying in the Congress, we got the votes. Let's just do it. Bring it to the floor.
Ryan.
And you said it, though. What a missed opportunity. It breaks my heart. I'm very serious.
Ryan and Pelosi were on the same page on that one. You don't have the votes. Indeed, you did have the votes, Mr. President. He was getting some bad advice there from the Republican leadership.
For 2 years.
What a shame.
For 2 years,
I think you're right, Congressman. I think it's time to declare an emergency at the border. I've been saying it on this program for many, many months now because it is an emergency. It's a war zone like that, down there like that. And the bottom line is, for people who say, hey, they're going to impeach the president if he does that, they're going to impeach him anyway. It's going to happen in 2019. Might as well secure our border. Congressman, thank you.
Remove him.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.